Hello, my Teaserking family. I'm so excited. I've got my cam back. And I have no idea why it went, and I have no idea why it's back, but I'm very happy it is. It's funny, I went to a computer store yesterday, and it's black, but if I'm in pictures, it's on. Like I was seeing this in my pictures and on my phone. And I'm like, what the hell? And, nobody knows. And then last night I went on and I said, I'll see what happens. And it worked. So I could see myself, I could see the background light up. And I said, okay. So I don't know why it went. I don't know why it came. All right. Let's look at last night's results. Very happy. Minnesota, big lock in the NBA, laying 2.5. They win by 30. This is what, see, when you listen to the BetMGM guys or any of these ESPN guys, what separates me from everybody else in everything is what variables I look at and what I determine to be important variables and what I determine to be not important variables. So when I talk about Minnesota last night, they had to win. Their backs were against the wall. Any other matchups or bullshit like that, it doesn't matter. They're going to play their best game because it's do or die. And when your back's against the wall, you do. Unless you just can't. An injury happens or something. There was no question Minnesota was going to win that game. Now we got game 7. And it's both teams back against the wall. So it makes it difficult. I prefer these game 3s and the game 6s and the game 7s when the team has to win and the other team doesn't. And then it's an automatic. When Minn has to win and Denver doesn't, Minnie's going to win. Now, tomorrow they both have to win, so we don't know. As far as you just got to make sure, like Boston, Cleveland. In Cleveland covered both games. They got to win and they lost by a few. In Boston, though, it's over their head. They had to win, but then there's but can they? And that's really the key question. Just because you have to win, are you capable of? And, doesn't matter, right? You want a revenge, week 1, Baltimore's revenging KC. Are they capable? Now, they could win it. We will see. But a team like Carolina in a revenge game with New Orleans, they can't win it. They're just not good enough. So you have to have enough talent to actually have your back against the wall and play this great game and win. And that's what it comes down to. So analyzing to know if the team – so Minn is clearly a very strong team, as is Denver. And again, Denver just relaxed. Well, we could lose and have game 7 at home. It's going to be tough. We're at Minnesota. And that's what goes through their mind. So the whole series was played. Minn won the first 2 in Denver, then put Denver with their back against the wall, even though the game was in Minnesota. So they win game 3. They had to win game 4. And then they had to win game 5 because they didn't want to go back to Minnesota down 3-2. So they won all 3 they had to win. Minnesota wins what they have to do. It's a beautiful thought process that I've kind of reading art, you take it from other places, reading Art of War, reading everything else. That's exactly what you try to do to get you to understand. And that's why I'm saying, how do you put that in a mathematical formula? How would you algorithm that? How could you, right? Could you really go, well, if a team, but then, it's the thing in the math formula, it'd be, well, if this team needs the game, bet them. Oh, wait a minute. Not if it's Cleveland, Boston. In Minnesota, you got to differentiate it to Minnesota, Denver versus any team down 3-2 at home has to win. And they don't all win. We saw the Lakers didn't do it, and Cleveland lost but covered. And you get a lot of teams that have to have it, and they don't have it. So that's really my point. You got to differentiate. That's like this: go for the fourth down, go for a fourth down. You the problem is it's not broken out. So you've got to realize, well, wait, against San Francisco, Kansas City, Baltimore, whoever's a good defense in Cincinnati, maybe Oakland, you're not going to get 4th and 2. You shouldn't even try it. You need to, especially in a big game like that, the Lions should have kicked field goals because they're looking at the analytics instead of realizing the analytics are not broken out by team. And then when you have a coach who relies on analytics instead of football sense, that's why I say you have a bad coach. Because a good coach, Lombardi would have kicked field goals. Bill Walsh would have kicked field goals. Parcells, I'd guarantee you he'd have kicked field goals. That's champions versus fakes. And that's all I'm saying. Is he a good coach? I don't know. We'll see this year, the Lions guy. I got him winning 6 games. Can he win 5 more? Can he beat Indy? Can he beat Jacksonville? Those are games that, with Richardson playing, I don't know if he can beat Indy, although I don't like Richardson. Can he beat Houston? Well, C.J. Stroud's not that good, but Detroit doesn't have the defense. And that's really the problem. A good defense, you can beat these teams. A good offense, your guy has a bad day. So go back to Detroit, Baltimore. The guy has a bad day. They lose 38-3 or whatever. But with a good defense, as Kansas City showed you, you can beat Baltimore because that's what Lamar doesn't like. But against a weak defense, Lamar goes all over the place because you can't defend him. You need a good defense, a fast defense to defend Lamar. So it's a terrible matchup for the Lions. Buffalo will be a bad matchup. Kansas City. I think they play the AFC South, so they're getting a break, but they don't play a lot of NFC South. They get the Niners and the Rams, Seattle and Arizona, so they get the NFC West instead of the NFC South like they had last year. And Houston's okay. Jacksonville could beat them. They're all about the same. Indy and Jacksonville and Houston and the Lions are about the same team. You're getting fooled into believing the Lions are as good as they were because they beat a lot of bad teams. Well, go explain the Bears loss and the Packer loss. This year they won't. Now Minnesota, this will be curious. All right. Anyway, I'm getting offline here. So huge win. Minnesota -2.5 forces a game 7, and now we'll wait and see. Baseball. Very hot. Philadelphia over 8.5 W. Boston over 8 W. Pittsburgh W. And I lost the Dodger game, which was it's amazing. That was the 5-unit game, and that's the one I lose. But the other games that I really, I like, but I don't bet, and I win all 3. And you always wonder about that going, oh, wait a minute. Why didn't I bet those? I do this in football all the time. I circle, I like Clemson, I like Pittsburgh, I like, Notre Dame, and then you don't bet them, and they always win. And then the games you end up betting, you lose, and you're like, fuck, why didn't I take this team instead of that team? I picked it. I picked Philly over and Boston over, and yet they didn't. But I didn't bet them. The game I bet with the Dodgers, which was very surprising. The Dodgers, they didn't even score. I mean, they were pathetic. Anyway. Now the big news. Enough with the bullshit talk. Here we go. Gold 24.10. No 10 o'clock slide. It only went from 24.03 to 23.98. Dropped 5, and then it smoked again. Now we're looking at a little drop, but I don't think it'll stick. But it could. I mean, you got to get out of get off of past noon and you're safe. And we're at 11:18. 24.10. And silver was higher. Let's see what silver got to. Silver had got to 30.79. Oh, now it's 30.61. It had got to 30.79, and you see the same thing at 10. The little drop, and then boom, a big hit. As we know, it should fly to 35 now. If it can just hold on here and end the day over, maybe get to 31, it goes to 35. And gold we know is headed to 3,000 up to 5,000. So gold, same thing, 24.11, good. It didn't stay at 10 and went up to 11, up 33 for the day. This is my favorite, the percentage. 6 months, it's up 20%. 1 year, it's up 21%. 5 years, it's up 86%. Yeah, but it doesn't pay dividends. And as you notice, the percentages today, it's only up 1.37% today because it's already 2,400, right? So 24.11, just keep buying it. Just buy as much as you can. The silver's finally breaking. We'll look for a $35 silver. We gotta let it settle at 30 and then go. So Luke, Bobby, boys, this is why I say be patient. Again, this is paper gold. I was watching Mark McGuire, and Mark, he's thinking $3,000 gold, and doesn't really talk. He didn't. Well, maybe he talked about silver at the end. So that's where we're at. It's green light. I was watching one video yesterday about the dollar that the U.S. cannot buy gold. And I thought it was a weird video, so I listened for a few minutes. And the reason is because that'll admit that the dollar is losing value. And I thought that was a really stupid editorial on it. First of all, it's pretty obvious the dollar's losing value when all the central banks in the world are getting out of dollars for gold. I think the cat's out of the bag. I think we realize the cat's out of the bag. So when you have that, you know that the dollar's gone. All the central banks are getting rid of it, buying gold. The price of gold's going up. Geez, I think we know. So for the Fed not to buy gold, well, they don't have to announce they're buying gold. Can't they just buy gold? They got to protect their money. My one friend said she thought Trump had gotten gold from the Vatican. And I can't find that story anywhere. So we'll have to see. But that is, again, you don't have to publicize that the gold's there. Put for my Daria. So with that said, I thought it was weird because it's like I go buy gold. Who know? And it doesn't. It's not a correlation. If the dollar's weak, you buy gold. If the dollar's strong, you don't. It's got nothing to do with each other. Does this matter what the dollar's doing? If I have this asset, that's a very limited Mahomes card. Does this have anything to do with the dollar being strong or weak? No. It's an investment. It's a collectible, and you're trying to make money with it. So why, if I buy gold, does it signal the dollar's weak? It doesn't. This whole thesis of the gold's only good when the dollar's weak, such bullshit. These are done by idiots who have no idea what they're talking about. Boy, I love to debate these guys. I'd eat them up, but they're scared of me. Anyway, silver 30.66, gold 24.10. Okay, so We're having a nice Friday. I told you it'd be 24. Well, I don't want to say it like that, but I was happy. I thought it would be 24 after that. So here's Mark McGuire today, which I just watched. I'll play a little of that. Let's see. I haven't watched this one. I'm just stumbling on it. It's brics currency revolution. It's not any, it's just buying gold. I don't know why. I don't really get it what the problem is. Huge protests in Warsaw, Poland against EU's Green Deal ahead of European something something. That's good. Yeah. See, everybody's getting tired of the Green Deal, and we got to go back to, rubbing sticks together for fire and all this bullshit. All right. So I was watching this yesterday. At about midnight, it came out.
When I tell my patients to avoid moisturizing their paper-thin skin, currency announcement just hit the airways.
Okay. brics official currency announcement, world in shock. Well, we're not in shock because we could smell what The Rock was cooking and we knew it was coming. So for us, not a problem at all. I'm going to do this, and then we'll do our baseball picks if there's any baskets. But anyway, it's more important. We did week 1 of the NFL yesterday. I'll repeat it. It was on the phone, and it was a half screen. And yeah. Anyway, here you go. brics official currency announcement. Gold-backed currency. I think it'll be coming out in October in Kazan, Russia, in their next summit. But it is, here we go. Let's go gold. All right.
This move by the BRICS to take place, things seem to be happening faster than anticipated. Sit right back as we bring you details on the BRICS common currency announcement, which is gold-backed, its impact in the US dollar as world reserve currency. BRICS has been looking at creating a new currency in the global markets to settle international trade among member countries. The alliance wants to end dependency on the US dollar and give prominence to the soon-to-be-released currency. The US dollar is the world's reserve currency, which means they can raise as much capital as they need.
All right. We don't need all the bullshit. All we need is that announcement. And you can see what gold's doing today, 24.14, silver's 30 and 75 cents or 60 cents. I always love that. How gold goes up. Gold's up like $30, $35 today. And silver's up $1. I don't understand, because there's not that much more gold than silver, or silver than gold. There's like 500,000 tons of silver, and there's 250,000 tons of gold. So I don't know why silver doesn't go $10, $20 like gold does. It's really confusing, because why does it go up 50 cents? Anyway, I would think that's about to end. I think that will not stay. That will move. Anyway, it's a good video, but it's stuff we already know. It's just officially announced, which is why I wanted to share it. So there it is. But really, it's not saying anything that we haven't talked about. BRICS is going on a gold-backed currency. It looks like October when they started. Russia's ready to go. They've been testing it. They want to control the price of gold. COMEX, now we'll get into Mark McGuire in a bit. COMEX is, losing, right? They can't contain it anymore. And even if they do, China is saying, fuck you. China's kind of pricing it in physical gold versus this derivative paper gold that the US and COMEX want to do. It is not winning, because every time, because it's so much cheaper. So when they do these little derivative downs, China's buying it all. That's why it went from 23, went down to 22.80. And then now it's 24.15 is because China's saying thanks. Come on. China now has, with citizens' gold, 60,000 tons. Putin got 30. Well, I found that Putin video. It was very enlightening. I'm sure you'll like that. So that's where we're at. So gold 3,000 is minor. That's the bottom. I see it at 10. It's really 10,000 in my mind, because with all this war talk, gold should be up, thousands of dollars. And again, the paper interferes, but that's not the free market. The free market is, I'm going to have it and I'm going to sell it and you buy it and we're going to determine a fair price. And if I sell this to you for 2,500, you turn around and sell it to Bobby, he'll give you 2,600 and Luke will give you 2,700. These are our students. Then it keeps driving the price because they can't find it anywhere else, but they know they need it. You must have this to survive. This is gone. So if we use logic, like I use to pick basketball games and to pick football games, the logic is this is done because they keep printing it and nobody wants it. There's now 40 countries that want to join BRICS in this October meet, on its way to 80 countries. Really, bottom line, they don't want the US dollar. They're looking for a way out of the US dollar, and they don't trust Russia and China, but guess what they trust? Good old gold. We want the gold-backed currency, and to join BRICS, you got to have gold to buy the gold-backed currency. And it'll be digital, where if you want to buy oil from Saudi Arabia, you can pay it digitally. But if you want, the people will have dollar bills. They'll have, this will be a $5 gold-backed currency like in Zimbabwe. So Zimbabwe's leading the way. The guy didn't get killed. The rest of Africa will go gold because everybody knows he who has the gold makes the rules. And we don't understand that. And we don't have any gold. We do not have 8,000 tons. If we did, we would show it. I have gold. Oh, yeah, Howard, I don't believe you. And then I go, yeah, look, see, I have gold. And then you go, oh, okay, because I'm telling the truth about it. So therefore, if I say I have 8,000 tons, I got to show you, here's a picture of 8,000 tons. But the Fed won't, Fort Knox won't, the New York Fed won't, because they don't. It's all hypothecated, which means other people own it. I don't know if it's a collateral or what, but we don't own any of it. And this is the problem. We say, well, we got the dollar. And everybody's like, you can't print the dollar to death, which we talk about all the time. And as they print the dollar to death, what happens? It's worthless. So the MMT Keynesian economists say, oh, you could just keep printing. You owe $35 trillion in debt. Just print $35 trillion. And what are you going to use? The money. And what do you think the money is going to be worth after printing $35 trillion? It won't be worth anything. It's not worth anything now. But if you printed 35 trillion, so forget about it. It's not, you can't do that. That's the point. You can't just keep printing infinity as if nothing's going to happen and the value won't go down. And that's why the MMT doesn't work. Everybody knows that. That's why all these currencies have failed except for gold. And the reason gold hasn't failed is it can't, because you can't really counterfeit it. I can't make something that looks like gold because they weigh it and they measure it and they test it. And if it's 80% copper and a little bit of gold, it won't pass. And you'll know, no, this isn't gold. So you can't, and it won't look gold. If you see the color, it's gold. You know what the color looks like. So if I put a bunch of brass and copper into this thing and painted it gold like Money Heist, you're still not that's why you go to a reputable coin store to buy it. And that's why you got to be careful online. I saw one guy trying to sell an ounce for 2,100. And I'm like, the lights, the flags came in, the red flag going, you can't, why would you sell it for 2,100? And then I went into the auction and was out of stock. So this was an older piece. But keep that in mind. So here's Brick saying, we're going to go. It's announced and it's being worked on already by the Russians. And it's a go. And it'll probably officially go in there in October, but it's already a go. So my advice is buy as much gold as you can right now. It's a no-brainer. It's a lock. You can't lose. It's going to go to a minimum of 3,000. My guess is eventually it'll be 50,000 if the dollar's still around at that point. I think it hits 20, and then I think the dollar goes away and the gold will be but the gold is money. This is the difference that differentiates gold from a Bitcoin or others. Gold is money. So we don't need the dollar. Right now, gold's priced in dollars, right? It's $2,400 for the gold. We don't need the dollars to have this be worth. It'll be worth far more than 2,400. So if you took the dollars out, which are deflating and going down in price, this would be $20,000 if you just left it alone and let the market take it. Because there's not that much. There's 250,000 tons, of which I think 249,000 of the tons is already gone. It says central banks, Russia, China, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Africa, all these places already have it. So it's not like sitting around, oh, I'm going to buy 10 tons. It's gone. So now it's just, that's why I warn you. The only reason I can still buy it is when I go to my jewelry store, not mine, but where I go, people come in and bring it in. They go, wow, 2,400, what a great price. They don't think, which is what I teach you in poker, is why. I bet 100 you called. Why did you call me? What could you possibly, you don't got nothing. You've got a hand. If you're calling $100 bet, I want to try to figure out why. And if gold's at 2,400 and you bring it to the jewelry store to sell it because you think it's high, you're not asking the right question. The question is why is it 2,400? Why does it keep going up? Because it's bricks. But you're not asking the question. You don't think critically. That's the biggest key to my class. You've got to understand the why. You ask a girl out and she says, you think she's going to say yes. She says no. You want to understand it. That's my downfall. You try to, the things make sense. So at 2,400, why? Well, because it's going to go higher and higher and higher because you can't print more and the demand is much higher than the supply. So there's more than 250,000 tons worth of demand for the 250,000 tons that are out there, which is going to force more people in and buying it. And as people realize in Europe that this is worthless, in the US that this is worthless, in Australia, in Switzerland, in Great Britain, and Africa, in Russia, China, they all realize these paper dollars are worthless. They printed them to death. They're all going to jump on the boat. That's where I get 50,000 for gold, because everybody's going to have to jump in or sit on worthless dollars. Nobody wants CBDCs, which I don't think I'll ever be, or it'll never work, because unless it's gold back, it's still the same bullshit in a digital currency. What if we lose electricity? Nobody has their money. Who wants money in digital? I don't think you'll be forced to take it either. I think it'll be like Bitcoin. You don't need to take Bitcoin now, but you can, but you don't have to. And all these Bitcoin people are in deep trouble. I showed a video yesterday, which I'll be happy to re-show today, how Bitcoin, the only purpose of Bitcoin really is the dark web. So you can buy illegal products and services, but you can only pay in Bitcoin. So that created this demand for Bitcoin, so I can buy illegal things. And there you go. So the Bitcoin went up as there's the demand for these illegal things went up, but you had to pay in Bitcoin. So Bitcoin really didn't go up in value. It's just more people got on board, because the only way to buy on this Alpha Bay or the Silk Road or these dark websites was you had to use Bitcoin. That should make you feel comfortable. The only way I can buy something is to use Bitcoin because it's not trackable. I mean, it's hilarious. So that's the only reason Bitcoin's it, but Bitcoin's priced in dollars, and Bitcoin can't be like gold. It can't be money. It's not money. It's not digital gold. It's strictly used to buy Alpha and the Silk Road. It was strictly that's all you can use. So people needed Bitcoin to get it, so they would buy Bitcoin. Which, as the demand grew for these sites, it grew Bitcoin. And then people saw the price going up, but not understanding why. The demand went up so they could buy these illegal things, and that was their only choice, not because everybody loved Bitcoin. But keep that in mind. Bitcoin is a scam. It's a Ponzi scheme. Now, I've heard there is some gold-backed cryptos. That's okay, but I don't like digital. I like having this in my hand. I feel very safe and secure. I got it. You can't take it, and it can never go to zero, right? This can't go to zero. This is going way, way higher. But what do you think? China's already guaranteed it that for their citizens own about 20,000 tons. It'll never go under 3,000 an ounce or whatever it is, whatever they're guaranteeing. So there you go. You got the back that it ain't going anywhere. The demand will force the price up. The dollar will go out, forces the price up. BRICS coming out with it forces the price up. What a happy day. So the U.S. better find some gold and have a gold-backed currency, or it's all over. Again, if I try to sell this and nobody wants to buy it, it has no value, right? You want to buy it? No. Anybody? No. It's worth zero because, or I got to get to the buyer. But if I go on eBay and put it out for a month and I get no bids, and I start an auction at 1 cent and I get no bids, it's got no value. And nobody wants the dollar. Nobody wants the T-bills because the debt, they'll never get paid back. The value of the dollar is zero. It's like a 200,000 mile Toyota Camry. Well, what's it worth? Nothing, because it's already been driven into the ground. Maybe you get another 50,000 miles on it, but that's it. It's really got no major value because it's killed. So that's what you have here. And so I thought that interesting. If you want, it's a 14-minute video. I don't. Basically, it's discussing what we've already discussed. BRICS officially has announced it, which we knew was just a matter. Well, hey, Greg and John, BRICS official currency announcement, world in shock. So basically, that's what's new. This is official, and buy your gold and silver before it's too late. Let's see. So Mark McGuire did his today.
Did you know there's a new form of money in America, and it's making some people very rich? It's not
never reached that level. And so to put
All right, Andrew, now can you give us an update on the BRICS gold-backed currency?
Yes, Shane, this leads on perfectly from the physically underpinned stair steps from which the next leg of the gold and silver rally commences. And I'm a firm believer that at the margin into an already tight for demand physical gold market, this 24-carat higher stair step support is at least partly attributable to the effect exactly 3 months of beta testing of Glacier's BRICS gold-backed commodity currency has had on the price of dollar benchmarked gold. And while not one-to-one, Our liquidity providers feel it's very close. And the plus $400 per ounce, kilo, ton, higher dollar cost to benchmark these same lots of gold is largely due to the forced unwinding of a 3-month long, and this is a huge number, 295,000 lots of COMEX EFP drain. That equals, say, 918 tons of 96% leveraged gold being forced to be fully funded to meet NSFR compliant delivery obligations.
So what he's trying to say in English is, as the paper gold COMEX starts doing their shorts, their derivatives, China's buying them. And when China buys them, that they need the gold to have it. And so it drains the gold out of COMEX and they're running out. And so as they run out, and as China keeps raising the price, COMEX is fucked. Now, I'm not sure what this has to do with BRICS, but we'll keep going.
To provide context, we're benchmarking these outflows just from the 13th of February, which is when we reported in our Live from the Vault episode on the February the 23rd episode that the beta testing had commenced. And while the mainstream media analysts haven't yet shaken these paper market scales off their eyes, they're still framing gold in fiat terms. They haven't yet realized gold is being repriced in the global south. Now, with Western physical gold exiting the Fed cartel's control, they are no longer able to shuffle physical delivery obligations inside the trading books of the cartel ring fence. And for the first time...
So again, he's talking Chinese. What he's saying is that China is pricing gold, not the COMEX, or at least that's where it's headed. And as that's headed there, that's what you've got. So basically, in a nutshell, COMEX is trying to keep the price down because the U.S. doesn't want to show the dollar's weakness. Oh my God, gold's going up. That must mean the dollar's weaker. Well, not necessarily, but okay. But China's saying we're buying everything you're doing these little derivatives on, and we're coming up with our own gold price. And so they're buying as much COMEX as they can, and they're going to run out, and China's pricing it much higher. So China will be giving the gold price. And when you got 60,000 tons, you probably want a pretty high gold price. And you're going to have the BRICS currency and gold. You probably want that high. So that's some of the Mark McGuire. I won't get into too much right now. I was watching this thing on Putin. I'll show you later his lifestyle. He's got quite an extravagant lifestyle. All right. So silver. Let's see. Does Mark talk about silver?
These are the days I will remember. These are the days. Never reached that level. Hey, Andrew, the huge Chinese SGE gold premiums and the large physical gold demand that you've been reporting on over the last year plus, must be taking a toll on the cartel. Do you expect this demand to continue? Yes, Shane. Perfect question, as this leads into tackling the most asked question since gold broke out of its officially capped 2024 range 3 months ago. The question is the current Chinese-driven gold price speculative and vulnerable to a historic crash? That, if I can sum up, that's how the questions are all sort of concatenated. The spoiler alert is no. And I will circle back to answering this question in detail in a sec. But we first need to fill in the more obvious footprints. So yes, the rising yuan gold price faces and continues to attract Chinese speculators. Now, liquidity providers assess that given the huge overhang of unfilled gold demand, it's not expected to dwindle anytime soon. If you recall, Shane, it was exactly 1 year ago when we drew attention to a second major push by Beijing to open up.
All right, so we got the gist of it. The demand will keep going, the price will keep going up, and keep buying gold, keep buying silver. So let's see. So that's where we were looking at the dark web yesterday, which talks about the Bitcoin scam. This is Putin's, all his houses and cars. And the brics, we just showed you the new gold standard. Russia shoots down 10 American missiles a couple days ago. Okay, so that's our YouTube, fellas. Now let's go to, let's go back, check the silver price, the gold price. Silver's 30.65, up $1 today, and gold's still hanging in at 24.05. We got to get away from the 10 o'clock drop, so we need it to start moving back up. But silver at 30.64 will go much, much higher. All right, let's get to baseball. Let's go to basketball first. There's not a lot there. So basketball, as I said, Minnesota with the big win. Today we got the Knicks at Indy. We got Indy minus 5.5. This is the Knicks lead the series 3-2. Indy's won both games at home. We're going to go Indy here. And Indy's laying 5.5. And this will be our 5-star. Not a lock, but we like them. This is what we are looking for. This is what we wait for. Indy in a must-win game, Game 6 at home. They lose, they're out. So they're going to play a good game. Are they good enough to play a good game and beat the Knicks? Well, they beat them the other 2 games in Indy, so I don't see why not. And then Game 7, probably New York wins, but Indy will play their best game. So this is what as a gambler is what you're looking for. This one team needs it, the other team doesn't. The Knicks, they'll play, but they know they can lose. In the back of their mind, psychologically, if we lose, we got Game 7. Indies, we can't lose. We have to win. And you play much harder than the other team, and that's what happens. So go Indy, beat Navy. Indy minus 5.5. All right, Major League Baseball. Let's see what we got here. It's almost noon, and our first game is a 2:20. They keep putting these 1 o'clock games just to fuck me up. Like, why do you play a 1 o'clock Wednesday game, Thursday game, Friday game? Pitt and the Cubs, Paul Skeens, 0-0 with a 6.75 against Kyle Hendricks, 0-3 with the 10.04. And for some reason, the over-under 7.5. Are you kidding me? Pittsburgh. Terrible bullpen, 4.25. And they hit 226, doesn't mean much. And the Cubbies, terrible bullpen, 237. Let's go Pitt. And let's go over. And we're going to go over 7.5. And this is a 10-unit play. So we've got 2 lousy starters, and we got 2 lousy bullpens. The teams can hit enough. This is still, I don't know, there's 3 or 4 guys that can hit on each team. and it's a 7.5. So it's not a 10 like in Colorado where they got to win by a lot. This is a 7.5. So this is nothing. So look for this to be way over 7.5. This should be a 10. Again, a bad line. They're looking at the wrong, as I just spoke earlier in the class about, I know which variables to look at over most people. And here Vegas is clearly looking at the batting. They're not looking at the pitching. So they're not eyeing that these pitchers suck, the bullpen suck. They're looking at, they hit 220. Well, that doesn't mean anything. So they hit, in 10, instead of hitting 3 in 10, they hit 2 1/4 in 10. Not a big deal. I mean, think about it. Even if you're a 300 hitter, you're 3 for 10. A 200 hitter is 2 for 10. So occasionally the 200 hitter hits the third time, and the 300 hitter only hits twice in 10. So keep that in mind. So I think it's a terrible line. This is like Georgia with the 54 over under, and we're locking going under 60, and the game ends 35-0. That's about the same thing here. So this is an easy over here, 10 unit. So we got 5 units on Indy to win. Should be more. Play 10 if you want. 10 unit, Pitt over 7.5. Now we get to the night games, Washington and Philly. Jake Irwin for Washington, 2-3 with 3.55. Zach Wheeler, 4-3 with the 2.53. Now here, the over-under 7.5. Well, does that make any sense that a 3.55 and a 2.53 ERA versus a 6.75 and a 10.04? How are they both 7.5? Oh, Pitt and the Cubs don't hit. Well, they're going to hit these guys. Where here's Zach Wheeler and Jake Irwin. Philly's a large 250. I don't like that. Hard to go over here because you got good pitchers. Let's take a look at Zach Wheeler. And let's see what he's 4-3 with a 2.53. So he's just unlucky. Let's see. He goes 6-7 innings a lot. He's had 2 bad games. He gave up 5 runs to Pitt in 5 innings, 5 hits and 5 runs. And then he gave up 6 hits and 6 runs to Miami last time. So he's had 2 bad outings. There was a 3-runner against St. Louis and Cincinnati early, but after the 5-run to Pittsburgh, shut out the White Sox, shut out Cincy, 1 run for California, 1 run for San Francisco. Now, I don't know what happens in Miami. And here you got him against Washington. And let's look at Jake Irvin. Jake the Snake is, he's got a lot. He's 36 strikeouts and 8 walks. Good control pitcher. And he goes 6 innings most of the time. He's had a 4 and a 7. He's had 3 or 4 bad outings. Gave up 3 to Cincy, 4 to Philly, 6 to the Dodgers, and 4 to Toronto. And keep in mind, this is in 5 innings, right? 6 innings against Philly, he gave up 4. 5 innings gave up 3. 4 innings gave up 6. 5 innings he gave up 4. 7 innings he gave up 2 to Boston. So I think Zach will. Let's go Philadelphia. Although you're paying a big price, but it's, I don't know. I don't really like the under. I don't know. This Jake Irvin has some bad outings, so we're gonna skip him. Go Philly. Baltimore and Seattle. We got Bryce Miller for Seattle, 3-3 with the 2.66 against John Means, 1-0 with the 3.09. And let's see. Bryce Miller with a 2.66. John Means 1-0 with a 3.09. So we have to look at the other stuff. So Seattle hits 3.20 ERA and a 2.26. They don't hit much, as we know. Baltimore 3.38 and they hit 2.43. So they hit a little bit more. Baltimore at home. Bryce Miller 3-3 with a 2.66. Geez. I say Baltimore is going to win. Baltimore's the better team. Seattle had to fly to Baltimore. Yeah. The White Sox and the Yanks. The Yanks, huge favorite, 250, 7.5. Mike Clevenger, 0-1 with a 5.40 against Nestor Cortez, 1-4. And it's 7.5. We're going NYY over 7.5. And this will be a 10-unit play. I don't understand. Well, Chicago doesn't hit well, but Nestor Cortez has got a 4.02 ERA. They're going to score something. And Clevenger with a 5.40 ERA, the Yanks will light him up. The Yanks should get the 7.5 by themselves. Now we can either go Yanks or the over, but the Yanks are 250, so it's better to play 110 on the 7.5 and go over against these two kind of crappy pitchers. So go Yanks over 7.5 for 10. We got Pitt over 7.5 for 10. In the NBA, we got Indy minus 5.5. We'll just play it for 5, but you could play it for 10. It's the same bet as Minnesota yesterday. Home team has to win. Road team can lose, and the home team will win. Indy will win. There's no question. Tampa Bay and Toronto. Tyler Alexander for Tampa, 1-2, 5.45. Chris Bassett, 3-5, 5.06. Over under 8.5. We go Toronto over 8.5. This will be for 5 units. Toronto and Tampa. They both have very weak ERAs, and they hit decent. So both are over teams, 8.5. Yeah. We'll keep this at a 5-unit, but you could easily bet this 10-unit. We can't bet them all. Well, I guess we could bet them all 10-unit if we see them all. Minnesota and Cleveland. We got Simeon Richardson, 1-0 with a 3.24. Tristan Tex McKenzie, 2-3 with a 3.54. I always like big Tex McKenzie. 2-3 with the 3.54. So Simeon Woods 1-0 with a 3.24, 3.54. Cleveland and Minn, they both hit. Cleveland hits 236, good bullpen. Minn hits 240, decent bullpen. This is a good game. I'm going to go under here. Cleveland under 8.5. Minnesota's not bad, so I don't mind not taking Cleveland. Very competitive game. We'll go under. The Mets in Miami, Christian Scott for the Mets, 0-1 with a 2.84. He's Jesus Luzardo, 0-3 with the 5.97. Games in Miami. Let's go with the JETSs, but no bet. I don't like Christian Scott, but he's got a good ERA. Well, let's see how many games the guy's played in. Sometimes you don't get the win, but you pitch well. No, he's only pitched in 1 game. No, he pitched in 2. 6 innings, gave up 1 run to Tampa. 6 innings, gave up 3 runs to Atlanta. So he's starting to pitch. Miami just stinks. That's we'll go there, but I can't. It's not really worth betting. San Diego and Atlanta. This is a very good series. Atlanta's 26-14. Atlanta's a 225 favorite, over under 8. Matt Waldron for San Diego, 1-5 with a 5.49. Max Fried. We're going to go Atlanta here for 5 units. Why? Well, I like Max Street 3-1 to 3.57, but Matt Waldron, I'm not familiar with him. 1-5 with a 5.49. He's not going to win the game. He's 1-5. Over under of 8. I would say this is an over, but the San Diego hit. Yeah, they do. Yeah, this could go over also. Atlanta, I'm always like skeptical. Their batting average was 290s, now 255 as of Monday, so I'm not really sold on them. Good football game. Oakland and Kansas City. And I don't have a pitcher, but I have KC as minus 200. So we'll see if we get pitchers in. I think I'm going to go swimming. And then I wanted to talk gold, which I have, and silver, how they're both over 2,400 and over 30, which are key points. Brics has gone gold. That was really what I wanted to talk about. The NBA, we hit Minnesota big yesterday. So we got Indy today, and looking at baseball. Why don't we go through week 1 of the NFL later, and we'll talk more of that because that's a whiles away. Let's see. So Oakland, KC, we don't know the pitchers. KC is much the better team. I think Mahomes, he could play baseball, right? He might be playing. California, Texas 165-9. Tyler Anderson 3-4 at 2.92 against Andrew Haney 0-4 at 4.39. Let's see. Texas is a big favorite. Anderson's not bad. This is an over-under of 9. California is 4.87 ERA and the bullpen at a 2.40. And Texas is a 4.97. So this is really an over. That's why it's 9. Tyler Anderson, 2.92. Let's see if he's for real or not. Out of Vegas. It's my guy out of Vegas. 7.7, 4.75, 6.66. So he pitches a good 6 innings normally. 1 bad outing against Boston. He shut out Miami and Tampa to start the year. Then he gave up 3 to Boston, 2 to Cincy, 2 to Baltimore, 3 to Philly, 4 to Pitt, 3 to KC. So his last 6 games, he's got a 3.0 ERA. So 2.92 is kind of bullshit because the first 2 were shutouts. And after that, he's giving up 3. So let's go over here. Let's go Texas over 9. Both bullpens suck, but we're not gonna. No bet. Just you can bet it. I'm telling you, it's Texas. In case the real D or somebody wants a pick, I'll give you all the picks, but I'm giving you the ones that we really like better. Milwaukee and Houston. Green Bay and Houston, a decent football game, although C.J. Stroud doesn't measure up. Freddie Peralta, 3-1 with a 3.63 against Hunter Brown, 0.477. There's a Hunter Green, too, I believe. Hunter Green's actually a color. I'm not sure Hunter Brown's a color. 0-4 with a 7.79 Milwaukee. Milwaukee's hot, too, I believe. So we'll go Milwaukee, and we'll put 5 on it. This pitcher sucks. See, this is the problem. If you just had your 4 pitchers, this would probably be Verlander, and they'd kill him. But you go to 5 pitchers, and the guy gets injured, so now you're on your 6th pitcher, and you got to go to a Hunter Brown, who probably isn't a good AAA pitcher, 0-4 with the 7.79. What's he doing there? Why are you pitching this guy? We don't have anybody else because there's not enough good pitchers that are major league material. That's your problem. Anyway. So go Milwaukee, and we'll do a 5 unit on them. Boston and St. Louis, 1967 World Series. Brian Bello, 4-1 with a 3.13. Kyle Gibson, I wonder if he's related to Bob Gibson, 2-2 with a 3.67. Boston at the great bullpen, a 2.43 batting average. And who are they playing? St. Louis, who terrible bullpen and they can't hit. So St. Louis is a Z team. Yeah, we can go with Boston, but no bet. Detroit and Arizona, my team that is more inconsistent than the Lions, at 21 and 22 against Arizona. 20. This is going to be like the Lions at Arizona in week 3 or 4. They'll lose because they can't win in Arizona. Detroit's a 145-8 over under. Tarek Skubal, their ace, 5-0 with the 202 against Ryan Nelson, 2-2 with the 533. So we got to go Detroit with this guy. He's a good pitcher. I'm not betting. I don't bet on Detroit, but 5-0 with a 202. So we'll see how this guy is. Arizona can hit the hell out of the ball. They hit 250. Weak bullpen. Yeah, Detroit wins this game easy. Yeah, we'll have to make it a 5, even though we definitely we'll make it a 4. Don't bet 5 units on it. Yeah, I'll make it a 3. All right. Cincinnati at the Dodgers. Cincinnati shut them out yesterday. Here's Frankie Montez, 2-3 with the 420. James Paxton, 5-0 with the 258. And they're only a 190 favorite. I'm going LA. Go LA, beat the Army. In our last game, Red Hot Colorado against the 49ers. Montana is going to be starting today. Frisco's a 150 favorite, 7.5 over under with that killer defense. Ryan Feltner, 1-3 with the 5.20 for Colorado. Kyle Harrison, 3-1 with the 3.42. Did Colorado, are they still on their win streak? Let's see. Yes, Colorado has won 5 in a row. So we got to bet Colorado here. Even though Montana's quarterback, we got to go Montana. Or we got to go Colorado. You never bet against the streak. So they've won 5 in a row, but I think it's like 7. Frisco's a 150. Kyle Harrison, 3-1 with the 3.42. Again, this is just betting the streak. So we'll take Colorado. No bet because I don't like the pitcher. Colorado's got a terrible bullpen, 444, and they're hitting 250. The 49ers, 479 with the 238. So their bullpen sucks too. So not sure why the over-under is so low. I think this is an over bet also. But we got to take the streak, so we go Colorado. Go Colorado, beat Navy. We have the PGA Championship going on. It's on ESPN. I mean, it's like, what the fuck? I will bet anybody you want that Xander Schauffele loses. He's a 9 under. Mark Hubbard's now at 8. Alex Norman, all the big names are in this one. Alex Noren -6. Tony Finau -6. Thomas Dentry -6. Colin Morikawa -. Never heard of these guys. Seth Tagali -6. Tom Kim. Maybe it's Tom Kite and he changed his name. Robert McIntyre -5. Rory. Okay, he hasn't teed off. My pick's Rory to win it. Scotty Scheffler's -5. I hate that guy. Brooks Koepka -4. I hate that guy. Rasmus. Let's root for Rasmus Højgaard. Hojgaard. I want to root for this guy, Rasmus Højgaard. I'll have to put $1 on him. What a name. Where do they get these guys? This is the PGA Tour now. Nicholas Palmer, Rasmus Højgaard. It's hysterical. I've never heard of any of these guys. Cameron Smith, I think he's from New Zealand or something. Brian DeChambeau, the worst putty I've ever seen. He's terrible. I don't know how his whole setup to his putt and his swing. I wouldn't teach that to anybody. It's the worst golf swing I've ever seen in my life. I don't know how he makes a putt. That's his problem. He hits well, but his putting style, you don't stand with your hands out. You stand with your hands against your body, and you think the hole. You got to see the hole in your mind, and you putt to your mind. You don't even look at the hole. You just, where's the hill? Where's the downhill? Or where's the uphill? And once I look at the hole, I picture it in my mind, I swing for the pitcher. And I make sure it goes 2 inches past. That's how you putt. I don't know what this guy's doing. Martin Kamer, Victor Hovland. Now, I heard of him. Jason Day. I like Jason Day, but he hasn't done shit in years. God, where Keegan Bradley? Oh yeah, his aunt was good, not him. Justin Thomas. He's playing the wrong sport. Jordan Spieth. I hate him. I'd like to play him on the 12th hole at Augusta, and I'd clean him out. Oh, another one in the water, Josh Jordan. Very good. I'd call him Justin just to fuck with him. Maverick McNeely, Jeremy Well. Look at these guys. Oh, my God. Corey Connors. Is he like the guy from Spider-Man, Corey Connors? Taylor Gooch, Justin Rose. I like him. Luke Donald, good old boy from Britain. Where's Nick Faldo? Where's he? Ricky Fowler, the biggest choke I've ever seen in my life. This guy will never win anything. He chokes. I don't get him. Russell Alley. Where? Tim Whiting. Oh, okay. Patrick, who are these guys? Oh, my God. This is your pro golf league. So basically, I know two guys. I know Xander Schauffele, who always chokes, and I know Rory McIlroy, who will probably win because he's been hot. Tommy Fleetwood. I like Fleetwood Mac. He's from England. He always does well in the British Open. I love how we can't say that now. It's got to be the Open, not the British Open. Tiger. I would bet strongly against him. He can't even walk. He can't play. You can't just pick it up. And he's always about the money. And he's +1. Goodbye, Tiger. Glad to see you. I hate that guy. Nick Taylor's in it. Big Nick Taylor. Never heard of him. And let's see. Ryan Fox. Never heard of. Brendan Todd. Never heard of. Ben Griffin. Never heard of. Jared Jones. I thought he pitched for the Pirates the other day. Y.E. Yang, no. Jack Knapp, could eat no fat. Dustin Johnson, the biggest choke in the world. Talk about a guy you can't putt. I don't know what Gretzky's daughter saw of this guy. If I was Gretzky, I wouldn't have never let him marry my daughter. This guy's the biggest loser I've ever seen. Zach Blair, Sam Burns, C.T. Pan. Just superstar after super. The biggest choke, Phil Mickelson. I bet he's betting against himself in this one. Phil, you need the professor to help you win football games because you suck at it. Jesus Christ. Denny McCarthy. Larkin Gross. Boy, I want to bet on that guy. John Summers. Tristan Lawrence. And leading it up is Chuck Daly, who's 11 over. Way to go. Why is John Daly in this tournament? Rich Beam at 18 over. Having a good round, Rich. What are you doing in the tournament? You know, I have pride. If I can't shoot par, I'm not playing in it. John Daly, shoots an 82. Probably drunk. I mean, what a loser that guy is. I remember seeing him. I went to the Buick Open here in Detroit. And I'm with my mom, and I've never, we golf, but I've never went to a tournament. So we go to the Open, we go to the Buick Open, and there's a guy, John Daly, you never heard of. And I said, this guy's a loser. He's like Chuck Daly, the Pistons coach. And we were laughing. And just some big fat guy walking around. But the memorable experience there was Lanny Watkins. We're watching. I go, hey, there's Lanny Watkins. I want to watch him hit his tee shot. I like Lanny. And his buddies are there. And I think he made a birdie on the last hole. And all of a sudden he breaks out beer and everybody's, drinking a beer with Lanny. And he looks at me like, do you want a beer? And I was like, wow, like Lanny. So I don't drink beer, so I didn't take it. But I said, thanks. And it was neat. He was very friendly and, having a good old time with the boys, having a beer. I mean, it was hysterical. I loved it. But that's the rare thing with golf. You can actually if the guy's not in it, but he's a cool guy like Lanny, he'll kind of give you a high and stuff like that. And I saw Ray Floyd, and that was kind of cool. He didn't say hi, but I just, Ray, you're the man. And so it was kind of fun to go, because like you can't do that at a baseball field unless you're like in the right field seats and you're yelling at the right fielder, or like Frank Thomas. I got his autograph. I took my kids to Beanie Baby Day, and it was against the White Sox, and I took two of his cards, like Bobby's. So I took 2 score nothing cards, and he signed them both. And I thought that was kind of cool. And so yeah, I did get to say hi to the Big Hurt, but that's before I was stoic. No, they wouldn't impress me. Anyway, so that's PGA. Who gives a shit? I will bet anybody Xander Schauffele loses and chokes. Okay. He shot 62 yesterday. I bet he shoots 70 today, and on the weekend he'll fall apart. There's really nobody there. Rory's at 5 under. Look for him to come in. Scotty Scheffler, Brooks Koepka. Brooks Koepka's an idiot. You don't get bulky for golf. He doesn't even understand what he's doing. You want to play linebacker, go get bulky. You want to play golf, you don't get bulky. You don't get muscles in golf. You can't. You lose your feel. You lose your touch. You can't do it. Who is this PGA championship? Golf. What do you mean? Who is this PGA championship? What's the question, Greg and John? What are you drinking already? Who is this PGA championship? Yes, this is golf, the PGA championship. It's on today. It's on this weekend. I'll probably watch it Sunday. The PGA championship. There's 4 majors: the U.S. Open, the Masters, the PGA, and the British Open. British Open's in July. This is the PGA Championship. That's the name of the tournament, the PGA Championship. So it's a major. I can see you follow golf a lot, Greg and John. All right, so let's check out our gold and silver and see. Gold's jumped back up. Gold 24.13. What a happy day. And silver 30.72. Next stop 35. Next stop 2,500. Roll Tide. So finally, we're getting there. BRICS announces gold-backed currency is official, and they'll roll it out soon. Bye-bye dollar. Don't listen to freaking news or Janet Yellen or any of those morons. They're fucking everybody over by not letting you get out of the dollar. You're going to hold on to toilet paper, and you've got to be careful about that. That is why we tell you to get this, because they can't print this to zero. They can't real estate trust it. They can't attack on Wall Street, Big Short, Margin Call, all those lovely movies where you got fucked by the Ponzi scheme. You cannot get fucked by this because they can't print it. Nobody can say this is worth zero, like they told the attack on Wall Street guy that, oh, by the way, that 60,000 you're holding in real estate trust, it's worth zero. Because since the people who couldn't afford the mortgages weren't paying, all our contracts we've deleted, and you're one of them. And so your goes to zero. So you can't get fucked. The stock market's going to crash, and bonds nobody wants to buy, and they can't pay it back. The debt's gone. And basically, you only have one option: gold and silver. And as you can see, silver's up $1.05 now. 30.73 was up $1 yesterday. Gold's a nice 24.13. Roll Tide. So it's like betting Georgia. You just take the money. You say thank you. So we're looking really good with gold and silver. I watched it 20 years ago with the PGA. Yeah, when Jack Nicklaus was there, that was good. Looks like a good coin. Well, this is a 1/4 ounce. It's an eagle. So you can see the U.S. and on the back, there's the eagle. Or there's the eagle. And it says on the bottom, let me try to get the right light. Yeah, right under the beak, it says 1/4 ounce. So right there, it says quarter ounce fine gold. Quarter ounce fine gold, USA. And it's actually worth, I love this. What's it worth? $10. Would you want $10 or would you want the $700 that it's going for? That's the funny part. Like people buying silver because they want the money, it's worth $1, or it's $30.74 if you actually have the silver because you're buying it for the ounce of silver. So what I tell you is to buy the coins because you can buy, like this cost me $550. It's about $700 now as we're watching gold on the move. I'm not worried about it going down because you'd have to be out of your mind to be profit taking gold. Because of the premium, it's not a stock, it's money, and everybody wants it. It is not going down like a stock would. There's no profit taking because you have to buy it back because you can't get stuck in dollars. So that's the critical point. Thank you, Greg and John. It's very nice, and I'll tell you, it's very addicting. When you start buying gold, you just want more and more, right? And but it's very smart. And as you realize you're in money, you got to get out of the money. There's nothing else to buy. Yeah, you can buy the Mahomes card, you can buy the Rolex, you can buy a nice Picasso, or like what I got over here. Over there, that's a Van Gogh, but it's a print. It's not a real. I was there and I just got a poster of it. I give you $100 for it, TK. Well, I need 700, Greg and John, but I wouldn't sell it for that because gold's going to hit 20,000. I'm going to want 5,000 for it. So I don't sell my gold at these cheap prices. If you want to buy gold, go buy gold. Go to the coin store, jeweler store, wherever you guys sell it in Connecticut, and don't pay sales tax on it. But that's your out. That is the key to success, is getting out of the dollars, the euros, the Swiss francs. You buy gold because they can't print it, and therefore it can't go. And it is official money. And since the BRICS countries and their governments are saying, yes, it has value, they won't kill it. Like Bitcoin is not approved by a government. And since the government makes the rules, so it's like football. There's a rule book, right? You can't hold. So Bitcoin comes in and says, well, in our game, you can hold. Well, but if the refs don't, so it's like Bitcoin's got their own rules in football. Okay. And in their game, you can hold, but nobody's looking at their rule book because the real rules run by the refs says you can't hold. That's the dollar. So you can't go against the refs. So what Bitcoin's trying to do is go against the government. And again, I told you the only reason it's got a value is because of the dark web and that alpha and that the other one, soil or whatever it is, Silk Road. Because of those selling illegal stuff in Bitcoin, you had to buy Bitcoin. Otherwise, Bitcoin wouldn't be anything. But because you want to buy this illegal stuff, drugs and guns and stuff like that, because you wanted to buy it, you had to get Bitcoin to buy it. Therefore, that created the demand for Bitcoin. Not because they wanted Bitcoin, because they wanted the illegal stuff that they could only use Bitcoin to buy it with. That's why Bitcoin's popular, but they put them out of business. So now Bitcoin jumped up and people think, oh, but you're not using the referees, right? The government does not okay Bitcoin, so you're playing a game that the refs don't agree with. But no, I bought this seed, but I'm analytical about that, and my whole persona and being stoic, I know that this is very cheap right now. I would never sell this gold coin for $700 unless I absolutely, Daria's in the hospital. Then I would sell it, but otherwise it ain't happening. So that's what I try to explain to the girls. I go, it's too cheap to sell. Like Jen is worried. I'm not worried. I said, I don't need to work. I'm just waiting for the gold to go up. And if I get a job, fine, but I'm getting Social Security. So I'm like, pays for rent and stuff. So I'm like, okay, I'm basically, this is my job now to teach this. And so she doesn't understand. She's like, oh, what are we going to do? You're not working. And I'm like, well, the gold's protecting us. You're fine. The gold's going to go up. She doesn't believe it. So now I told her gold's at 24. Gold's at 24.11. Went up to 24.16, and we're done with the 10 o'clock drop. So that's good. Silver 30.75, trying to get to 31, and it's on its way to 35, and it's still trying to be price fixed, but they've run out of silver inventory. So when these people want to buy 2,000 tons of silver, they don't have it. So they're going elsewhere, and the price is starting to move because COMEX is getting out of they're going around COMEX and the price fixing bullshit. 30.80, go silver, go. Maybe we'll get a 31 before we go swim, or when we get back, maybe it'll be a 31. But there's no stopping it. Nobody's selling their silver. Would be, it's not worth anything to sell. But see, so Greg and John, you got to have your price points in. Mine is 20,000 an ounce gold. So therefore, this coin gets sold at it's a quarter ounce at 5,000. Then we'll talk. But why would I sell this? Well, certainly not selling it for 100. Selling it for 7 doesn't make a whole lot of sense when I'm anticipating it going to 5,000 and even higher. The gold's going to go through the roof. The gold will be the dollar. The price will be huge. So why get out of it now? So when I go to my jewelry store to buy more gold and silver, and the only reason he has any is people are selling it. They're all excited. Oh, gold's at 24.11. I better sell it. It's at its all-time high. Why do you think it's at its all-time high? It's going to go higher and higher and higher. So that's the problem. People just don't realize what they have. And this is the problem with most people. And I'm not like Robert Kawasaki, and I'm going to rip people for being, not intelligent. I'm not going to do that because they haven't been taught this. And if they haven't been taught it, it's not their fault. They should understand it, and that is their fault. But I can't blame them for not realizing that this is toilet paper, and they can see what happened in Germany in the 1920s. But they'll go, oh, but they weren't the reserve currency, and we're the U.S. dollar, and da 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 da. And all I say is, I'm sure the Romans said the same thing. Well, we're the Romans. How can we go bankrupt? Well, when your money's gone, you're bankrupt. Guess what's happening here? Our money's gone. We're bankrupt. Only they don't want to tell you that because there's an election. I don't even know if there'll be an election. We will see. And I hope that they get Zelensky out of there because really Russia's won the war. I don't know what the fuck Zelensky's thinking. Oh, we can beat him. How are you going to beat him with what? And he's just keeping the war going. I guess the defense contractors want to keep the war going to sell more ammunition and have the U.S. government give them another $800 billion in free money. It's such a bullshit con game. Here's who you wish Don Corleone was in charge because he wouldn't do this. He was against drugs, so I'm sure he's against this. Anyway, that's where we're at. Let's go through the sports again. We got Indiana tonight, -5.5, 5-star, maybe 10. Bet it pretty hard. They must win, just like Minnesota yesterday. I was so proud of that pick. Pitt over 7.5. That's a 10 unit. Philly, Baltimore. The Yankees over 7.5. That's a 10 unit. Toronto over 8.5 is a 5 unit. Cleveland under 8.5. Nothing. The JETSs, Jets, just to win. Atlanta, 5 unit. Texas over 9. Milwaukee, just to win, 5 unit. Boston to win. Detroit, a 3 unit because it's Detroit, just to win. The Dodgers to win and Colorado to win. So you see, I'm getting off of the over-unders because we're starting to see pitchers pitch 8, 9, 10 games now, and they got a 2.0 ERA is a good ERA. And the pig over here is a minor leaguer with a 5 ERA. So when a 2 plays a 5, now we can bet the 2. We don't need to, I don't really know. I'm going to go over or under. So that's what happened. So those are your baseball picks. I'm going to go swim. We're going to come back and do NFL week 1 and see where the golf is and see where the gold and silver is. 24-10, 30-72. Silver, we will see at 35 by the end of next week. The gold has been announced. A brics gold-backed currency is all done. It's set. I think it rolled out October, but it could be earlier. There is some sort of summit in St. Petersburg in June. We will see. And that's about it. So stay stoic. We know gold's going up. So stay stoic means we know it is. Buy more of it. Don't listen to people who say, oh, gold won't do that. The dollar's the reserve currency. I'm buying oil. I'm in Amazon. All that, all the stocks crash. Home values are going to crash. There was a thing on YouTube yesterday about the home, how people are like forcing rents up or something. And I sit there and I laugh at it going, you don't understand the market. You can try to sell Coke for $10 a bottle, but guess what? People aren't going to pay for it. If it's over the market or the ribs, as I told the guy, for $45, it's the same thing. If nobody buys them, then you're stuck with all these ribs at $45 that you can't sell. So don't go there. And that's what I'm telling the guy with the, that's what I'm looking at this video about the rent or the houses. I think the rent's very expensive, and it's some algorithm or something. And it's like you can charge it, but, I'll go somewhere else. Now, if you're telling me there's nowhere else to go, then if it's a monopoly, I'm forced. But I don't think there's a monopoly. I think there's several apartments. This is in Arizona. So maybe if you wanted to live in this area, then it's more expensive, but that's normal. But if all these are empty, believe me, you don't own these to lose money. I don't care if you're Larry Fink or Jerry Fink. You don't buy something to lose money on it, right? Oh, we got so much money we can't lose. Yeah, okay, that's what Lehman Brothers said, right? So that's a bunch of bullshit. You buy them to rent it out. Otherwise, why are you buying them? You're buying them to raise the price to not rent them out? What a great business model that is. Oh, wow. You're the dumbest investor I've ever seen in my life. You do it, you sell it, you got to find market and rent it out there because you're trying to make money. Otherwise, why the fuck would you buy the apartments? Well, we're going to raise the prices really high and okay, good. And you want to have anybody running them. You've got to find market price on everything. Anyway, the knee feels fine. The foot feels pretty good. Yes, the last few days I was limping. The knee's all better. The foot was on the Achilles, which really hurt. Hard to move, to push. That's the problem with gout. It's hard to push. But I had that cherry tart, and I had some of the gout stuff, and ate well. So it feels fairly good. There's still a little bit of twinge left in the Achilles, but outside of that, it hasn't spread around the foot, which it usually does. And I'm hoping that by tomorrow I can walk fairly normal. Then I got to make sure not to get an ice cream or a Diet Coke, which seems to kill me right away for some reason. And I was watching this thing on liver from our doctor, and Dr. Eckberg, and he's like, it all relates back to insulin resistance. Insulin kills your liver, kills your kidney, kills your heart, gives you a stroke. Basically, don't eat your sugar, watch your carbs, be careful on your carbs, be careful on your eat your meats, but no bread, and watch your fruit. Fruit isn't the answer. People think fruit's the answer, or honey. You got to be very careful on that. Just to have a little bit. You can't eat a half a cantaloupe or a half a watermelon or a bunch of cherries. That'll give you diabetes the same way. So you got to be careful with that stuff. I've been having like blueberries and blackberries because they've been on sale, but I stay away from the little bit of plum once in a while, but stay away from the watermelon. I stay away from the honeydew, the pineapple, cherries, all the sweet stuff, even grapes. I'm careful with that. So I'm very conscious of keeping my insulin resistance low. I use it by my stomach. If my stomach's okay, I've been wearing the same bathing suit for a couple of years. Okay, then as long as it fits, I'm okay. So every once in a while I do my fast, but I just did that whole week, eat once a week, eat once a day. I might try that again, or just do a 3-day soon. Anyways, Daria, I did get a good morning, my love, yesterday, and that was it for the day, and nothing today. And I'm just scratching my head going, but when I got on, she hadn't been on since 7, which is unusual. So I don't know what's going on with her. I've come to the conclusion she's just busy, and she knows I'm there for her, and she knows I'm with her. And then, so therefore, she's not really worried about it. If I didn't text her for 3 or 4 days, she'd be worried. But I think you can see on WhatsApp, you can see the people that have left you messages. She sees it, so I'm sure that's what's going on. I don't think she's fucking around with me. I don't get that at all, and I'm a pretty good judge of that. So that's where I'm at with her. I hope to hear a normal conversation with her this weekend. If she has been working, like she was off for Easter, May 5th that week, so I could see her working a lot. She was ill on the weekend. She didn't feel good. Then I didn't hear from her until yesterday morning. So I keep saying, "Are you okay?" And I guess she is, or she would tell me. When she had to go to the doctors for her back or neck, she showed me that. So again, trying to use logic and stoic, I'm like, okay, everything's fine. Planning on meeting her in Serbia when her mom can come watch her daughter. And that's it. So we will see. She knows I got the gold, so she ain't leaving me. I got the gold, right? I'm worried about Jenna with Putin going across the Ukraine. She doesn't have electricity during the day. She ran to get food. She said the airlines are on strike for the internal, in other words, for the food and transportation within the Ukraine. They got to be careful because of the war. So they're on strike, probably wanting more pay as they're getting shot at. And so she told me, I got to run and get more food. And I said, be careful, because you don't have electricity, means your fridge ain't working. So it's all going to spoil. Even if you cook it, it's all going to spoil. So you got to buy Cheerios and tuna fish and things in the cans. That doesn't matter if it spoils. It won't spoil, because if you get hamburger and you cook it and your fridge doesn't work, now what? You've got all this hamburger. You either eat now or you don't eat. So I thought about that when we lost power. I got the whole freezer full of hamburgers and steaks and chicken. Because of the inflation, I'm expecting to pay much higher prices. So I've loaded my freezer, and then I said, we lost power. Wait a minute. If if I lost power, I can't keep them cold and then I can't heat them. So if I cook 10 pounds of hamburger, what am I going to do with it? Because it won't stay. So that's the thing you take for granted, is that the fridge will work, right? And your electricity will work. That's what you got to be careful about. So you grab your cereal and you grab your things that you can eat without the electricity. That's why the cans and the stuff. But if it gets to that, I mean, we're all done anyway. So we got to find a country where we don't have to worry about that. So anyway, so I just hope Daria's okay. She knows how I feel about her. I'm not really worried about. She's not cheating on me. I'm not the guy you cheat on. I'm the guy you cheat on with, but you don't cheat on me. That makes no sense. Anyway, so that's about it. Off to the pool. We'll come back with the NFL. We'll keep an eye on gold. A little more Mark McGuire, and we can look at Putin's many houses and have a fun day. Okay, so it's 1:45. So I'll come back on about 3. I am so happy I got my picture back. You don't understand. I didn't do anything, and it went black, and I didn't do anything now, and it came back. I saw it. I tried it yesterday night, and I saw the cam not turn black. It was dark, but not black. And I said, finally. And it lightens up when I'm on. Anyway, very happy about that. I don't like using the phone. I can't drink. I'm sitting there like this trying to do that. And it's so much better like this, a big screen and everything. All right, so have a good day. I'll be back later. And go gold, go silver. Brics has announced it. Gold's over 2,400. Silver's getting close to 31. And finally, we're getting the payoff. Silver's at the beginning, but once it breaks, like he said, once it broke 30, it's headed to 35. So we might see 31 today. We're going to see 35 soon next week, and just keep going. BRICS, huge demand for gold. All these countries that want to join BRICS, huge demand for gold. They have to join. That's Putin's entrance fee. Give me gold. I need more gold. So anyway, that's what's going on. Indy tonight, 5-star in basketball, baseball, Pitt over 7.5, Yankees over 7.5, Toronto over 8.5, Atlanta, Milwaukee, Detroit. The Yanks and Pitt are the 10 units, and Indy, do what you want. If you want to go 10, I am still celebrating the Minnesota 30-point win, because I had to be stoic there. Everybody, they'll lose. Look at Denver, and Minn comes through for me. So very good. All right, everybody, have a good day. I'll see you back in a few hours. We'll talk NFL week 1, and we'll talk. We can look at the PGA leaderboard, and we can talk the BRICS and the gold and all the fun stuff. All right, go buy gold and silver now. Go run out and buy it before you can't. Silver, I would buy. Go. Luke's already got 2 boxes, and gold is you're probably going to have to buy 1/4 ounces and 1/10 of an ounce, because it's 2,400 means it's 2,500 with the premium, and it's 10 grand buys you 4. Where 10 grand bought me 8, I think, initially. So keep that in mind. All right, everybody, have a good day. I will talk to you later. And figure about 3:00-ish, somewhere around there. All right. Take care, everybody. www.teaserking.com is the home of the Teaser King. All right. Bye-bye.